Kurt Cobain, like his goal from his dream was to
Nirvana's lead singer.
Yeah, lead singer Nirvana. Kurt Cobain, his goal was to become a rock star, get super famous, and commit suicide and become a legend. Obviously, that's not a God-inspired thing. There's perversions and stuff.
Ironically, like most people that say they're going to do that don't, but he did.
That's obviously not of God. That's like a perversion of something. And that's like some people just say, well, I'm going to become a prostitute, and I'm going to make money on the street and stuff. That's something they're settling for. That's not something Kurt Cobain wasn't a 5-year-old kid who dreamed about becoming super famous, killing himself, and becoming a legend. That was something, But God's created you to have some sort of internal need to you have a dream and desire. So whatever it is,
there's always a corruptive thing, because the devil wants nothing more than to see us fail and to see us try to do something great and then just dash our dreams. And you can look at that with the Kurt Cobain example. His dream was to become a rock star, make music for a living, and get famous. But you can look at the people where the only way to get famous, unless you're Michael Jackson or Elvis, is to die halfway through your prime.
And if you look at it, he wanted to become a legend, right? So he could live forever. That was the whole point of killing himself, because he becomes a legend and lives forever. Well, what is that? If you really break it down, that's the desire. He wanted to live forever. Well, we all know that the only way to have eternal life really is through God and live in eternity with God. And so that's just perversion. But the whole thing we want you to take out of this is don't give up on your dreams. The reason I said that perversion thing is I don't want you to use us as an excuse to, well, I want to go create a new kind of drug and that is more addicting and I can make more money. Obviously that but actual God-given dreams. Everyone we believe has a God-given dream, even if you're not a Christian. You still have a God-given dream. Something that if you are doing something else, that's the thing that you want to do. You always think about whatever job I've had. I've always wanted to do. And not exactly just this, this is the beginning. This is the seed that's going to grow. But, I'm following that dream of what I want to do for years, way back in high school and even before, is doing Christian media and stuff that's actually good. Stuff that Christian kids can watch and not be well, I'm not allowed to watch other stuff. So this is the alternative and it's alright. But it's just as good if not better, and that, and just as good so anyone can watch. My goal is that half of our viewers won't even be Christians. There'll be people we meet at comic conventions when we start doing that and stuff like that, who are interested in spiritual stuff, who are interested in God, but just have never felt that they really fit in a church and can watch this and really learn stuff. So I'm hoping that at any given time, half of our viewers aren't even Christians. I want it to be high quality where they can still, that whole idea. And so that's the dream, and just whatever your dream is, what we're trying to say is fulfill it, don't. That's what
and I'm sure you can do with in the beginning of the Dreamweaver or Dreamgiver, the guy's not everybody, and there's always skeptics, but the fact is everybody does, and it's always the thing you can go through your filmography and practically every movie that's made, and you go with movies I just watched Wanted recently, and you have the character Wesley Gibson, I think it is, or something like that. At the beginning, he's this is my job and it sucks and it's boring, and he uses a lot more expletives than I will to describe it. But he's he ever had the feeling that you're made for something more or something to that effect. It's in everywhere, and it's what people are thinking because of the fact that people are created for something more. They have a singular purpose that they were created for. People give out tons of money. Right now, Pepsi's got their Refresh project going on. And you have companies
Well, Mark Zuckerberg recently just gave $30 million to the school district from his hometown or something like that, Bill Gates is no longer, he's now listed as a philanthropist. He's no longer even technology or anything
And it's just because everybody knows, and you have the crowdsourcing programs for t-shirt designs and stuff that become all the rage, because people know, and they've come to understand the fact that people know that they're made for something more, and they have the desire to put in their creative and their technical input into everything around them. People with their webcams on YouTube, and people, you can't even buy a laptop that doesn't have a webcam with chat ability in it, built in. So
yeah, when you said Wanted, for some reason I was thinking of the old I think it's actually called The Fugitive or whatever, with Harrison Ford. And partway through it, I realized you're not wanted. That movie is flipping amazing.
It is.
Like, okay, now granted, oh my goodness, if you want to learn how to cuss and you don't know how to, that would be a good movie to watch to learn. So it's not something that, it's definitely rated R for a reason. There's not like it's also very violent. But you do not, if you're offended...
one of those, like, you know those recovery things that they use, like, whenever they get injured?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody needs to invent that.
If you don't like movies with swearing, don't watch the movie. It's very explicit in that sense. There's not like a... I don't know.
Or you can watch the cable version where they put in those, like, substitute words.
Yeah, but that would be weird because there's too many... A lot of swearing. By no means are we condoning the movie in terms of that standard, but if that doesn't bother you, which most of our viewers, it probably doesn't bother you.
Everyone knows that Morgan Freeman makes good movies.
Yeah, it was phenomenal in terms of like that part of that whole... Obviously the action stuff was really good, but the whole idea, that was like the theme of it is like, he starts out, you know, his job sucks, and even at the very end, he has the whole kind of thing of, I stepped out of, you know, followed my... I think he said destiny or whatever, but he's like, you know, what are you doing? Though again, he used different language.
Are you doing? Or what?
So like, I watched that movie feeling so inspired because at the time I was really struggling with, you know, I was either still in the job that I was wanting to quit, but I couldn't because I needed the money to support my family, or it might have actually been after I'd been laid off and I wasn't really sure what was going to happen next. And this right here, this whole idea of what we're doing, the whole vision, it was really heavy on my mind and my heart, and I was like, I wish I could just go off and do that, and I just don't feel like now's the time, and I was really thinking about it, and that movie was really inspiring, because it was like all about that, like jumping out and doing what you want to do, and following, you know, like what you're supposed to do, and not just having that crappy job behind in a cubicle because, well, it's the easy thing to do. So
right after that, I watched The Happening by M. Night Shyamalan. Maybe it really inspired me to want to cut down all the plants near my house.
Did you see the KJ52 video with Abe?
Oh, he's all like, great job on The Sixth Sense, was it?
Yeah. The district youth director for Northern California, Nevada, which is, you know, where we are, is Indian, and he makes fun of himself for a lot. Like, every youth convention, he talks, like, he says something in an Indian accent, even though he doesn't have an Indian accent.
He's very American.
Yeah, KJ52 was there. If you don't know him, he's like the best Christian rapper. You know, he's really good. Well, in my opinion, he's the best. And he has like this now digital camera, not too dissimilar from what, you know, we're shooting on. And he goes around and he tours and stuff. And he has like a YouTube channel. It's like KJ TV, KJ52 TV, whatever it is. And so he just records stuff at different shows, airports, just funny stuff like that. Well, he has a clip of him behind the scenes, and like he's walking, and like Abe Daniel, who's our youth director, who's the one who contracted him out to come out here and stuff to do it. He like walks up and Abe puts it in Abe's face. Abe's like, get out here. I'm guessing he's already harassed Abe about this because he's like, get out of here. And he goes, oh, I'm a huge fan. And I'm thinking, really a fan? He's yeah, he's the district youth director, but why would KJ52 be like following what the district youth director's doing? And he follows it up with the line that says, I really liked you in Signs. And he's making fun of him. He's like he's the M. Night Shyamalan, and I thought it was hysterical. And I was not at all, didn't think it was racist because my thing is if you're friends with someone who it's an open joke, we used to have friends.
It's more like the whole dude, you look like insert a famous person, and so you make fun of them by calling them. It
was just really funny. I mean, honestly, if KJ52 made fun of me, even if it was off my skin color, it was funny. I wouldn't care, And obviously,
it's he made fun of me.
What's really funny though, if you're there, because we, with Pathway and stuff, where people come for stuff, he'll make fun of himself for his nationality a lot. You can make fun of your own, yourself, or your own experiences, or even your own race. You just can't make fun of other people's race, because that's when it's unless you want to be either racist or get beat up.
Yeah.
So he'd make fun of stuff a lot, Indian stuff, just making fun of himself, because it's great when a speaker can make fun of himself, not take himself too lightly. Well, then different of the Pathway people who were newer and didn't know better would then make some kind of joke or say something, and then Abe would pretend to be offended. And he'd get really mad and be like, "Why would you say that?" He's like, "That's offensive. Why are you making Indian jokes? That's so offensive." Da da da. And but you just said, he's like, "I'm Indian. I can make a joke. You can't do that. That's racist." And they would get scared. He's like, "I'm just kidding." It was great. For a while there was this friend forwarding message. And like you get like, oh, your friendship has been outsourced. It's like this heavy like Indian accent. Your friendship has been outsourced. Da da da. All this kind of stuff. Well, Abe sent it, and then it got, I wouldn't say viral, but like everyone I knew had gotten it, and Abe had sent it, and that's kind of how it got to me, because he sent it to someone who sent it out to other people. Well, when that person sent it out, it got back to Abe, because it was just like a send all kind of thing. And Abe like called him up and was like, "Why would you send this to me? This is so offensive." And he pulled that whole thing. Like I was like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know." And I'm just messing with you. So with that, we've gone way over our time. Thank you once again for watching. We will see you next week, where we start a long progression of catching up with a lot of interesting stuff that's been happening with Batman. More information about that next week.
I did not like the ending of that one.
Until then, check your batteries. Make sure they're good and healthy, and we will see you next week.
Winterize your vehicles. It's December.
Just make sure your tires are good. Make sure your batteries are working. Make sure your windshield wipers have changed. Oil your car. That would be weird. Get your oil changed. And
fluid.
Buy it. If you're a comic book owner, or if you own a comic shop, call us 530-392-2262. We will set something up. I don't care if you're a tiny little mom and pop like Cup of Comics. We will set something up.
I love small businesses. They're amazing.
Or hey, if someone who the owner or manager from Golden Apple's watching, and that would be awesome too.
Or like if.
Have you ever been to you know what Golden Apple is, right? It's like a super famous like comic book. It's probably like the most famous comic book shop. At least I think it's the most famous. Like I've seen it referenced in movies. It's been the set of movies, and it's this huge comic book company in LA, like in a very dicey part of town. It's just very famous. Golden Apple, it's this.
Oh yeah, I think that place in Japan that Wolverine runs is based off of that place, isn't it? It's like a bar.
What? I don't know.
Never heard of it.
But anyways, this very famous comic shop. I've been there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never been there.
It's an interesting story how I ended up there. It was very scary because I was little. I was not little, but I was like junior high. I was junior high, and me and my dad are walking in like very scary LA. My dad's like, "Don't make eye contact. That's how they target you." I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna die!" I was like, "I don't need this back issue that bad." So, anyways, interesting story. Maybe I'll tell it one time. So, all right, we will see you guys next week.